Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Apartment A3 podcast. This is your host, Nick Huber, my illustrious. And we had a discrepancy last week. He's not 350 pounds and some cock. He's 350 pounds of cock.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Tom
yes,
Falcone.
that I agree. Hello, everybody.
So what were you saying right before we started recording?
These weird telemarketer calls, and they're talking about. I've been getting calls these weird lately, and they're just machines telling me that I have student loan debt, and then I requested packages of helping out with pay these debts, and I'm like, well, I never even went to school, or finished high school for that matter, so I don't have any student loan debt.
just a little bit of a learning deficit, but
for sure, yeah. But still, I'm like, okay.
Hey, I graduated and I still have that.
Fair enough, but sometimes I'd be like, let me talk. I'll wait to speak to the person, and they'll be like, so you have debt that you're trying to figure out, and I'm like, no, I never finished school, so I'm just confused on why you guys are calling me, and then they just hang up. So and then that's that,
because they don't care, because they're just looking like if they get it doesn't your life story doesn't fucking matter to them. They're there to take every call that they can because when they do and they reach out to somebody and.
That's so lame.
Even if it is this and it's a scam of some kind, or that person, your number somehow is on this registry that is sold to whoever, probably because they saw you on Facebook and blah, 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 blah. And here's the algorithm that says, who are your friends? How many of them graduated from college? Tom probably did too. That's how they fucking do that shit. That's absolutely how they
actually do research.
It's, oh, yeah.
Oh, you didn't finish school.
Yeah. And that's... So when he was telling me that story, I said, I got a text the other day that something that said to the effect of the financial aid request package that you've requested, whatever, has been approved. I'm like, I didn't request shit from anybody.
It's like, it's been approved. Just send us your social security number.
I mean, you know what? Why don't you just go ahead and send cash in the mail, and we'll call it a day.
That's so weird.
Thanks so much. I don't understand. I get it, but it's annoying. But that's the thing with your cell phone. It's when you had a phone before, right? Back in the day, before call ID, before answering machines or anything. And if you were at home and the phone rang, you answered it because you didn't know who was there.
Yeah.
Right? And even then, flash forward, 20, 30, 50, 100 years, whatever, it can't say the 90s, call ID, right? Caller ID came up. That was like the greatest thing. It was $5 a month. You'll know who's calling you. You would see a number pop up with no name on it, sometimes randomly, and you'd still go, I wonder who that is, and you'd still fucking answer the phone.
Yeah.
Today, if a number pops up in my phone and that name is not attached to it, already in my contacts, I don't know you.
That's for me. I hesitate to answer the phone a lot of the time. I get this weird feeling, and then 9 times out of 10, it's like a fucking phone call I actually needed, but I'm just like, I don't know. I don't trust it. No thanks. And then I'll just be like, if it's important, they'll leave me a voicemail.
If it's important, they will leave a message. And they never do. And then they go, oh, well, we called you on this date at this time. I'm like, oh, I see I have a missed call from that number, but there's no message. Did anyone leave a message? Oh, you didn't? Okay, so you suck at your job too? That's fine.
All you just had to say is give us a call back.
Yeah.
And then I would have given you a call back. Even if those telemarketers would be left a voicemail, it's like, listen. I'd be like, maybe I do have to call them back to tell them I don't go to school. Fair enough.
Right. Yeah. Maybe I'll let you know. And it'll matter. They're not going to update the database.
I wish they would. It's so unfair.
For a time, I think it was, it was some legislation pushed forward by somebody, blah, 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 where they had the no call list for a while. They finally approved on a federal level that there was this list that you could, that all telemarketing companies, all marketing companies of any kind that used telephone for contact had to honor your request to be put on the no call list, which means delete your number from there, whatever. But that there was only a 10-year limitation on this elimination. And so if anybody was using a computer database and knew how to just write a simple algorithm that said in 10 years make these available again, then you'd have all these phone numbers still available. So take me off your list did a lot of good. But I think that there's a new version of that, but I don't know. It doesn't apply to cell phones. That's all anyone uses anymore. Who the fuck has a landline still besides my parents?
Yeah, my mom has a landline.
I think it's that whole row of Parker. I think those houses are just like, meh, we'll have a landline.
They all have landlines.
We'll have a landline.
The mother of my daughter has a landline.
I mean, that's not to say that I didn't. I want to say it's probably the first time I moved out, when Andrew and I moved, we had Paige and we moved over to, I want to say Sutton Place area. Because we had one of those VTech phones. Remember the VTech phones that were like the clear blue plastic, red plastic, green plastic?
Yes.
But it was a cordless, and it was like, oh my God, it's so cool. We had one of those.
Like sky blue cords.
No, it was a cordless.
Oh, it was a cordless?
Yeah.
I don't remember the cordless one.
Oh, yeah, we had cordless
clear...
ones. They were like translucent, right? So you could see through it, but it was, so you could
I
see the
do remember
electronics,
those
but they
phones,
were like
though.
green and orange. And so we had a blue one. I'm like, well, do we want to get a landline? She's like, sure. Like, we got it for no reason. No one ever called it ever. That phone never rang ever.
Never.
And because we had cell phones. I mean, maybe a couple times.
I remember being a kid and there were only landlines, and my mom let me have a phone in my room that was so sick. I felt so cool. I was like, yes, my own landline phone.
That was a big deal in our house too, but it was when you got the phone, because that house was actually wired with all the bedrooms having a phone jack in it because it was built that long ago.
Yeah, but it was the house phone number. It was just my own phone.
Right, but it was your own phone.
Yeah.
Right, and that was the graduation moment where it's just like, okay, here you go. I can't tell you how many nights I was like up talking to my friends. I'd like call, because it was right next to my bed. So I had it mounted to the wall. Like you see when you go to, sometimes when you go to an elderly person's home.
I would love to see your room.
And they have the bars installed, because if they have for assistance, and then there's like a phone there, like right on the wall. If you're not familiar with this, my grandparents had that. My dad's parents had, and it was always like, "There's a phone in the bathroom. That's so cool." And he's like, "It's not a good thing to have it in there." I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "I'll explain when you're older. You're like 7, going, why isn't it cool to have a phone in the bathroom? Because it's in case they're dying. Like that's what it's there for."
Oh shit! I never even thought about that.
Yeah, but now everyone's got a cell phone. The only thing with the cell phones is if you call 911 from your cell phone, it does not guarantee that you get to where you need to get to as far as a dispatch is concerned. If you call from a landline, the system is routed directly to the closest dispatch for you, for wherever your location is when you call from a landline. If you call from, and they can track the number so they know what the address it's coming from. With a cell phone, they can't. So you might be transferred twice sometimes. They might have to put you on hold and transfer you to another 911 call center before transferring, because triangulation isn't accurate enough.
Shit.
To know where you are. So that's why, and the reason I know all this is because when Nicholas was coming, we did some of those training classes, and one of them was a CPR class, an infant CPR class. And they said, if you don't have a landline, but you have a landline plug in your wall, plug a phone into it. The only number you can call is 911. You don't even have to have service. And that way, if your baby's choking to death, you dial 911 from your landline, and that'll get you to the nearest dispatch.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. So even a cell phone that as long as it has battery, it doesn't have to have service. It could be the service could be interrupted or whatever because you didn't pay your bill and shit. You can still call 911. That's a requirement.
That is fucking cool.
It's actually why a lot of places where
I never knew that. You learn something new every day.
Walmarts and stuff were collecting just any old cell phone, just throw, give us your battery, whatever, just toss it in, and they would recycle and wipe them clean and stuff, and they would give them to bus drivers in rural areas, so that if there was an emergency and say they didn't have their own phone, they could at least still dial 911.
Oh, that is sweet.
Yeah.
Maybe the people do care about each other.
I think so. I see those collection bins for the Lions Club that's always collecting glasses that are used, but I can't imagine. I don't know a person who needs them, but I don't know. I was always like, what's the Lions Club? Like, I don't know. Very juvenile, sort of like, is that where the Lions of Voltron hang out? Is that the Lions Club? Like the officers club,
wait.
in an airport where the officers go, or or in the military.
So they use glasses, seeing eye glasses?
Yeah. So if your prescription slips and your glasses are in decent condition, and you're not going to be able to, use them again, they ask for donations because there's all kinds of people who need specific scripts that, how they have the ones they sell at the optical center where it's $20 for this
Can
shitty.
you try these ones on? Do they work? No. What about these ones?
Yeah.
No. Oh, these ones sort of work.
So those are usually what you'll see.
Pal.
But they only cover so much of a prescription. I mean, if you have trifocals, bifocals, specific stuff, I guess. Bear in mind, these are all things that I am just assuming are criteria. They just say, just give us your glasses, and they figure it out from there. I don't know for sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know how
How long
they
did I
test
just talk about glasses for? Do you ever see the Lions Club? I'm thinking it's the Officers Club for the... Oh, Jesus. Shut up. I need a vacation. The first snowfall of this lovely fall season was just the other day. It was lovely. It was great. It was so cute. I wanted to fucking vomit.
Why do you want to vomit?
Because of snow. He's looking at his phone.
No, I'm looking.
He got another Sean Paul update. 6 more people have suffered the Sean Paul syndrome.
Have you ever met somebody who hates colors?
I'm sorry. You might clarify that question for me.
See, exactly. Have you ever met somebody that like will be like, "Oh, that's green. I hate the color green." Who? Have you ever met somebody like that?
Oh, colors.
Yes, colors. Not.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah,
Just thought it was a funny opportunity for an off-color show. God,
No, not what I meant.
Damn it.
I am literally talking about somebody who, like, seeing a rainbow and like, "Oh, fuck the rainbow. It's so ugly." Like,
So it's not a phobia. There's no something phobia attached to
No,
that.
like,
They're not
say-
scared of it. They just don't like it.
say you have like an orange guitar, and somebody walks in and they're like, "I hate the color orange."
I mean, I don't love a color orange on a guitar, but
But my point. You know,
right,
but-
right. But I like orange on an orange makes sense to me. I like that.
Okay, but you imagine like, I hate that color.
Yeah.
I would never be like, I can't figure that shit out.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, never.
I don't think I've encountered that.
I have on numerous occasions.
No, but myself, I don't think I've come across a color where I'm like, fuck that color.
That's.
But I also don't think I've ever met anyone.
I met.
But I don't think I've met anyone who's ever. You know, I can't say that for sure, dude. I've been here. I've been on this planet a minute. I probably have in passing and went, cool story, nerd. What the fuck do I care about whether you like a color or not?
Yeah. Speaking of like,
You know, I think the taupe is just awful. Did you listen to what you just said?
the taupe. Maybe you don't like it in this room.
It's not gold enough, but it's a little more silver. I don't know. It's barely a precious metal. I'm like,
don't
you're just
understand
making
how
shit
you
up
would
now.
hate something like that.
What's up?
I can't figure out how you would hate something like that. But speaking of, you're like, I don't know. I maybe have ran into somebody or something like that.
I probably at some point ran into somebody who's just, who's like, I don't know. I don't know. You're much more likely to run into a person who goes, oh, dude, I fucking hate olives. I'm like, all right, man, that's cool. You don't have to. Cilantro's disgusting. All right, genetically, we understand that half the people like it and the other half are going to think it tastes like soap. That's fine. That's a real thing.
Cilantro.
Yeah. But, but that makes more sense. It's a food preference thing where it comes to
You
a
could
color,
taste
it's
it.
like,
You're like feeling something.
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, color, you're hitting your eye senses.
You're not
right?
feeling anything though. You're just like, oh, whatever. That's green.
But maybe you do feel. Maybe there's a tactile function to it. Maybe,
Who knows?
Maybe
I
there's
would not be surprised if there was some sort of testing.
Maybe there's a texture of some kind that happens with a color that you're not like. What weighs more, a pound of feathers or a pound of iron? You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah.
the feathers look huge because it's a pound of feathers. So
The
visually,
pound of iron.
right? Well, they're the same.
It's the same. Yeah. That's a super funny trick question. Though. That's
right. Oh shit! Oh my god! Yes, I'm sorry because the cynic in me went GD. Like it's like he doesn't know that it's the same thing.
is a pound.
Right, it's pound either way. Right.
I would like to actually lift that though. I would like to have that in person.
What?
And lift a pound of feathers and lift a pound of iron.
Your brain. Well, plus you got to consider this. If you're doing it at the same time, you're doing one in each hand, and one side of your body is always stronger than the other.
That's true. What if you just switched it up though? I really want to try that. I think I might.
We could try
this
that.
is something I might spend money on. A pound of feathers, or let's 20 pounds of feathers, because we can lift. Do you know what I mean? Like an actual, like a pound. What do you lift? Just a pound.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. What about 10? Because I'm thinking this, like, you go and lift up that 10 that, and it sits differently too, right? Think about that. If you're, say it's like a 10 pound dumbbell, you pick that up, it's designed to have weight basically sort of even on both sides of your hand. So it's balanced. What are you going to put those feathers in?
Oh, okay. To make it totally even, we put the feathers in a 10-pound style made for 10 pounds pillowcase, and then we just weigh the pillowcase, zero that out. This is all about coming back to smoking pot and knowing the different sizes of weight and how to use a scale. But anyways, never mind. So we reset the scale with the...
I think you just took the wrong classes in high school because you could have went out like valedictorian.
I probably did take the wrong classes. But so we reset that scale, right, with the pillowcase on it.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to 0. And
Right.
then we weigh it with the iron. And then capichow.
But yeah, well, you're going to verify the weight of each thing beforehand so that you know that they're the same. But so what my point is if you're lifting them one in one hand and one in the other, if one side's stronger than the other, that might be inaccurate. You're saying then just swap hands so that the other thing was...
Yeah.
All right, so then how do you measure other than you just kind of going, I don't know, I feel like they're the same? Like, how do you verify that? How high you can raise your arm holding that weight?
Yes, let's go off of that, how high we can...
But maybe after you've warmed yourself up with that first one, you got a little more range of motion in your shoulder,
What do
especially
you-
if you do one of these.
Okay, what
shoulder
if you
rolls.
warm up for 5 minutes and then you
I feel like this whole thing is flawed. I feel like the whole thing is flawed.
Speaking of, I saw they made rocks. They made energy out of like weighing rocks and like dropping rocks. I didn't like get too far into it, but it was just kind of nuts. So I was
Just from...
gravity and rocks. However, flat earthers think gravity is fake.
Okay, well, I really didn't want to talk about them for a 5th week in a row, but okay.
It's fun to they're fun to make fun of. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. But I mean, how long can you punch down for? You know what I mean? Don't you eventually want to look for
Speaking of gravity, punching down.
look for another target? Just like, who else is an idiot? All right.
You look like a bird. Huh? No. Have you ever seen that episode from It's Always?
Which one? They call her a bird all the time.
They were watching Predator for the 30th consecutive time.
Yeah.
And Mac and Dennis get a divorce.
Right.
And they walk in and they're like, we talked about this on the way over here.
Yeah, this is the way over. I was going to stand here and make snide remarks, and he was...
He was going to hold the bowl.
He was gonna hold the
Why couldn't
bowl.
you just hold the bowl and make snarl remarks?
That show's still fantastic. I haven't seen any of the new season yet. I love what Mac has done. Just embrace the gay character, right? And he's just shredded, and he looks so gaunt. Like there's no fat in his face at all.
I think the whole gaining all that weight, he probably just figured he could turn all that shit into muscle for that one season.
Oh, dude, no. I mean, he said that was one of the worst. He's about the worst thing he's ever done in his life.
He wanted to do it.
Right? No, he did. He regretted it terribly because, you know, gaining all that weight, you had to eat just shit all day long for just months. You're just eating 5,000 calories a day in order for it to get on, and it gets on kind of quickly. But to then take all that back off, even if you go right back to the way you used to be with your diet and exercise, it's so much harder to take off. From a dude who's done it, it's so hard to take off and so easy to put on. So for him to get like as ripped as he is and leaned out, like you see him in the promos and stuff, and I'm sure they oiled him a little bit, but like there's nothing on, there's no fat on the dude. He is shredded. So I'm wondering if he's like cutting water weight for like 2 days before each time they shoot so that he can actually look like that, or if he's just gotten that low, which just seems unlikely. But
I have a really hard time gaining weight. I am fucking losing weight left and right. I weighed 128 pounds like 2 weeks ago. Now I lost 4. And I'm just so confused. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
well, you stopped eating.
I didn't stop it.
No?
I smash a pint of ice cream every single night. I will fucking...
so fucking jealous of you.
I don't get it.
I want to just crush ice cream so hard.
Oh, I could totally crush ice cream right now and then probably eat some donuts and pasta.
You know what? After this, I probably should go to Wegmans real quick and do a grocery shop run because I have the kid for the next couple days.
Wegmans. I enjoy my Wegmans. Very cozy inside. It's all. You ever do that? It's freezing cold, and then you'll run into a Wegmans, and it's all toasty, and you're like, yeah.
You go in the bakery section, like, is that bread? Oh shit, that's bread.
Toasty.
Bread's so good.
Wegmans is a fun spot.
I think you were right about that needing an intern thing because I'm empty out of coffee.
I could definitely go for
like
some
a
more
sip,
coffee.
and I know like we could pause. I mean, we could. Yeah. We're gonna
Hang on.
just pause real quick.
Hang on. I'm still here.
What? Oh, you want to trade off? You want to Dukes of Hazzard this shit? We'll just swap out. He's texting, so he's not appreciating
I'm
the
not
Dukes of
texting.
Hazzard joke.
I've actually never fucking seen that movie.
You've never movie
Or show. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
See, that's how far.
I have to remind myself Tom's much younger than me.
Let's see if it works.
What do you have?
Don't play this. Don't do it.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to find commercial music.
What, like Folgers?
We'll be right back.
Three hours later. Some kind of
And in case if you are wondering, I do have elevator music on my phone.
some kind of a lackey. Some sort of person to help us out with shit. An assistant. Lackey just sounds
We can't pay you.
diminutive.
You could join in on the conversations. That's pretty much all you'll get out of it.
We are accredited with no university, so it will not count for college credit. It won't even count for like elementary school credit.
You might.
You might get a
learn
gold
some
star.
audio
You get a gold
knowledge.
star. Yeah.
You'll learn some audio knowledge.
A little bit. Although it's very possible they know way more than me already.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not recording into GarageBand. I mean, but you know, there's people out there.
I have no idea how to use Pro Tools.
No, it's not super difficult.
Yes, it is. Are you serious? I watched you guys do that. Like some of those like crazy engineers, and they're like, then you could do this. You could replace this kick drum. I'm like,
Which is why I said the thing I said about there being people out there who knew way fucking more than I do. I can use Pro Tools to do some shit with, but like the stuff that like Zabricki does,
yeah, it's nuts.
I can't even, I would love to be able to, but I just didn't have access to that kind of training.
What do you mean? It's right in front of you. And YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't even use Google anymore.
You know, though, YouTube.
DuckDuckGo
So many
and YouTube.
So many YouTube videos or tutorials, especially like the self-made ones from some dude. They almost for me they annoy me because they lack production value, but also it's just they don't always give you all the points you necessarily need. They assume maybe they assume you know something about the process, a step in the process where like grab this particular part because it's got the whatever thing on it. I'm like, well, this one looks like a star, but this one looks like an octagon. Which fucking one do I need? You know what I mean?
And 9 times out of 10, they'll have a different model than you.
Right, they'll have a different model. It's like, how to replace your taillight in your 93 Ford Taurus. And the video will be like, how to replace your taillight in the 93 or 97 Ford Taurus. I'm like, well, that's a different body type. It's not.
Dude, it'll end up be like 93 Ford Taurus AE or something weird and stupid like that. Or like something like it'll be the same make and model, but the dude's car will be something slightly different.
Right.
It's just so weird.
Right. Well, this one was the Grand Touring model, so people like to use, they like to strip it down and put an extra blower in
Specifically this one. You're like, yo, I just need to fucking figure out. Like, this happened to me the other day.
These are super rare.
Oh
the
my
one that
God.
you have is super common, and nobody wants to do a video on that shit, but that's what you need.
Dude, the Volkswagen Passat, the 2016, it doesn't have, or at least I thought it didn't have keyholes on the door. And I was sitting, the battery died in it, and so I'm trying to figure out how to get, like, I had to get my hi-hat stand out of the trunk of the car, but it has been hanging out for a minute, so the battery died. And nothing was working, and I couldn't figure out how to get in the car. And I was like, why isn't there anything? So I just went on YouTube, and you just flick the key or whatever, and then there's a little notch under the handle, and you just pop the thing off. And then I was just like, why can't I figure out how to get...
See, like, that's cool. That's neat. And I understand that.
I did not like it at all.
But so my car and Chelsea's Equinox, so my Malibu Equinox, with our key fob, there is no key to flip out. There's no key at all. Our vehicles don't have keyholes.
Are you sure there might be a key hidden?
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope. Nothing. So I don't know if it default unlocks the driver's side door. If the battery's dead, and those locks are power locks anyway, they're not going to work.
No.
So that's why I don't know if it's a last ditch effort. It goes, oh shit, unlock the doors just in case they're stuck. Like how do you? I don't know. That's a good question. So now I have no idea how if my battery dies in my car.
Then it goes back to the Tesla. Remember we were talking about that?
Yeah. Well, the neat thing is my car actually has 2 batteries in it, and I don't know how it's relayed. but the second battery is in there so it has that auto off thing, that auto stop. So when you come to a stop sign or a stoplight, from acceleration you decelerate all the way to a stop. It shuts the engine off to conserve fuel. And then if the main battery starts to drain enough from whatever accessories and stuff you're using that it needs the engine to kick back on, there's a separate battery that I believe is in the trunk somehow that powers that separate ignition stage that gets triggered by the initial battery getting too low. So then you need to start the engine to turn on the alternator to charge the regular battery. Mm-hmm. I don't know if those feed off of each other. That was a lot of explanation. Sorry about that, everybody. People are like, who the fuck cares about your goddamn car? But anyway, I just think with two batteries, if it's relayed off like that, then maybe it's way less likely that your car will die. But if it does, what do you do? Or is that battery completely separate so that if your main battery dies, that battery still exists to power your door locks maybe. But then what happens if that dies? Then how do I get into my car? I have no key.
Right, whatever they both die.
I have no key. Everything's dead. I have no key.
It was, but I was super confused. But I went on YouTube after I figured out how to get into the car.
Thank you so much for bringing this back around to the point you were making.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be, please.
But I flick the thing off. I get in the car, but since the battery died and there's no keyholes anywhere, the friggin' trunk wouldn't open. I couldn't figure out. And so I'm like, oh my God. So I had to go back on YouTube and find how to get in the trunk of my car. Instead of it being a latch, do you know what I mean? Like, oh, okay, you flip this and this and the back seat goes down. I had to take the key and there's like a spring and a lock and I had to like finagle it and it was so aggravating.
How preposterous.
That's what I mean. I was just like, I just needed to get in the trunk.
You just press the thing in the shoulder of and then pull down.
Yep, not in a Volkswagen.
Jesus.
That's what I was
Germans are so superior with their car manufacturing.
But the guy, that's what I mean. I was like, okay, 2016 a Volkswagen Passat, this model. I was like, okay, it's white. And the guy's like, oh, this model is it's this model. And I was like, so he's like, this is going to be slightly different. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. There was no other YouTube videos of this damn car, how to get into it, and it was just there was these two videos and they were the same exact year and model, just a slight different, like, yeah, it was just so aggravating. But yeah, I ended up having YouTube help me.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's one of the things that Joe Santagato has said before that I agree with a lot is that especially with today, with the way the college seems to be like a money grab for them in a lot of ways, and the higher your attendance, you get this extra money from the government, and then your book prices are so high and they're making a fucking killing there. That college isn't for everybody.
Hell no.
I think that going to college does give you an opportunity to learn a bunch of shit you never would have otherwise learned in your life. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to give you the tools and teach you what you need to know about what's going to help you be happy in life when it comes to, your career or being fulfilled in that respect. And I think that I was actually a pretty big proponent of the gap year, which is a thing that's kind of recent, where when kids graduate from high school, they'll actually take a year off before starting into college as a freshman, and they'll either work or they'll backpack through Europe if you're white and upper middle class or whatever, and they would have these adventures. They go stay in hostels, they get some life experience and go, cool, all right, I think I have a better idea. Because all you've done K through 12 is get force fed, whatever the bullshit rhetoric is in whatever state and county and city and municipality that you live in. And it's all different. To have a completely, very quick side, to have a different standard of education in almost every state and at different levels and stuff, and fuck Common Core. I understand that was part of the idea is to try to make it more regulated so that at least it's all on the same page, but some of it just doesn't make sense to me. And a lot of people that I'm friends with that are teachers say the same thing, but there's proponents of it still. And, K through 12, you're just getting force fed whatever the thing is. And a lot of times it's not even accurate. You'll find out years later, oh, that was wrong. We were teaching it wrong for the whole time.
Yeah, what that is so weird to me. Like, what do they teach about Christopher Columbus now? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't even know.
The whole time you're like, he's this
great dude, and then you find out, and that's why you have a place to live, and we have this great country. I'm like, is it though?
You know what I always wondered too? Like, what do they teach in Germany about World War II?
I believe, and I could be talking out of school, but I believe that they're very reverent to the fact that they don't want what happened to ever happen again.
I can imagine.
They like it's a massive black eye for their nation. Again, paraphrasing something I believe I heard someone who was German say to somebody, probably Joe Rogan, regarding the situation, but that they're very humble and very, like, again, observant of.
They're probably. I would imagine they're like, we're sorry. We're sorry.
Yeah. We're sorry. Sorry.
Sorry. That is also
the dark the Mysterion series, the 3-part. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah,
I absolutely love it.
I cannot stress how amazing Matt Stone and Trey Parker are.
Oh my god, dude!
I was just yesterday. The game for Red Dead Redemption 2 came out.
Yeah,
like 3 weeks ago, something like that.
Something like that.
They already have an episode. I was listening to it, the commercial, and the guy was like, Cartman's like, "You're already playing Red Dead Redemption 2?" And it was just insane. Like, I was like, those dudes are on top of it.
They turned that shit around in 6 days. They turned around in 6 days. So they're more capable than anyone. Probably even better than news organizations who get their shit wrong all the time, at making a very, very topical, very current thing happen. Like what was the name? Who was the woman in Florida who was like a vegetable and they were trying to decide whether or not to pull the plug on her or not? And then there was like a made-for-TV movie about it, and they were doing it based around Kenny. So because Kenny dies, but he's in this coma and he's like on machines, and what was her name? Terry something.
What is that?
Terry something. Oh shit! But literally, she. I want to say she died, and the episode came up the next day. I think they were building up to it because Terri Schiavo. Pretty sure that's it. She was declining. Like it was, and it was a legal battle. What the legal battle was over was whether someone's last will and testament is enough. I think was part of it, or maybe she didn't have one written out. Kenny did in the show, but they couldn't find the last page. And so it said all this different stuff. And the last thing was, no matter what you do, please don't ever, ever let me blank with regards to his death. And what the answer was on the last page. And they couldn't find it. So eventually they find it, and it says, be living in like a vegetable hooked up to machines on TV while everyone talks about whether or not I should live or die.
Oh, shit.
So it was like a quirky moment where, it was over the right to terminate yourself. But the thing was that she was mentally brain dead, right? But then some woman came and brought her like, Mylar balloons, the helium ones.
Yeah.
And they're silver, like they look like a mirror on the one side. And she like pointed at herself. She's like, she knows who she is, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, man, it's a shiny red ball. Like that's, you caught the attention of an invalid. Like that's not, whatever. So that was the whole thing. But literally the day later, 2 days later, the episode comes out, and her passing actually factors into how the storyline goes within days. Like they factored it, so all the way back from Terri Schiavo. But yeah, those guys are so good at it. And because the BP oil thing, it was a little dated, but to build up the whole story of Coon and Coon and Friends, that was. Or was that separate? Was it a separate one when it was just when it was the BP oil spill? Because I feel like that was a 3-parter also.
I think it was a 3-parter.
Never mind. Right. So
Coon and Friends.
Because the Mysterion Rises, I think, was a one-off. No, because they did a Mysterion series too, which is Kenny. Spoiler alert.
I honestly think it was the Coon and Friends. I don't know why I did that. The Coon and Friends, that 3-parter, and then the one standalone Mysterion.
Maybe, yeah. Because I know that the whole thing with Eric is that Coon and Friends kicked him out because Captain Hindsight was like part of the thing.
Captain Hindsight? They're amazing. I can't get over it.
The building should have had more escape routes, and these buildings shouldn't have been too close together, and you probably should have got here earlier and fired water faster.
Oh, my God.
I have to go help other people. Thank you, Captain Hindsight. Thank you.
You should have. That is so ridiculous. But I cannot wait for tomorrow. Is my point.
I'm behind on what's out right now.
I saw the last one I saw was the Jewel episode.
I haven't seen that. I think I've only seen through the 3rd episode. But did we talk about this then? About how each episode starts with the school shooting? No, we didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about it.
We didn't talk about it, but personally we talked about it.
Yeah. Every episode. Okay, right. We didn't talk about it on the podcast. Yeah, every episode starts with a school shooting, and like, oh my god, and they're just so numb to it. They're just like, whatever, man. I gotta go to math.
Yeah, that's right. And where Cartman makes fun of the Black Panther, but he's not making fun of him. He's like, I just didn't like it.
Right.
He's like, and he's blaming Token for this whole
Blaming
thing.
Token, right? Because he's like, he tanked
God.
his own. He tanked his test based on the fact that he was copying off a Token, but like Token's answers are different.
But he thought because he hated. Did you see this episode?
Yes, he thought it was so Cartman thought it was because that Token was upset that Cartman hated Black Panther, but in fact, as it stood, Token never actually saw Black Panther and didn't care that Eric didn't. He just didn't want Eric cheating off him anymore.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. How do you come up with that? That is so funny, dude. It's because they made this kid came up with this whole scenario. Oh, he's mad at me. He didn't let me cheat off of him.
Right.
Because he's mad at me because I thought Black Panther was shitty.
Exactly. Oh,
so
my God.
funny.
Right. And just each character. Like,
That is brilliant.
they've had all this time. They developed the characters so well, each of them, that you know what they're going to do. Like, Randy by far is my favorite. And I think I've said that. Like, Randy's my favorite character, hands down.
Same, dude.
I think Butter's right after him, but I mean, he's so great. I just love him in everything that because he's so absurd. He's a scientist. He's supposed to be a smart guy, and he acts like an idiot constantly. I love that.
Butters?
What about Butters? No,
Stan is a scientist?
not Stan.
Randy? You mean?
Randy's a scientist.
Shit.
Yeah, remember he's a geologist. When there would be the earthquakes in like the early decades of the show, he was this. You don't. Yeah,
I need to go back. That show's been around for a long time. I got to go back.
but it comes up all the time. Did you see the episode where he was Lord?
Yes.
Right. Well, he was working at the thing, and the one person like he had eyeliner on still or something like that, and the guy's like looked at him weird. He's like, "Do you look like?" He's like, "Nope, I don't know what you're talking about." Yeah, he was working there then.
He was Lord.
Yeah, when he was Lord. Feeling good on a Wednesday.
They are ridiculous.
He's just taking a shit. He records it with his phone, and then well, see, Stan. So we up the tempo and we put in the beat behind it, and then we put in the auto tune, and there you go. It's a fucking Lord song.
And they're really good at music.
Oh yeah, no, they're really great at that, and they're able to. I need to see Book of Mormon. Badly.
I have never seen it.
We
were
Paige
actually
said it's one of her favorite things she's ever seen.
Fucking playing shows, and when it was like on Broadway, and
Yeah,
like in New York, walking up, like there were people like standing outside, like to the point where it was kind of cool. We randomly ran in like, they were switching over sets. It was the last day for the Book of Mormon in New York, and it was switching over to something else, but they were loading out all that gear, and there were like a lot of Kent cases, and that company used to be from Buffalo.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of cool to see like something else in road cases.
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just kind of
all the wardrobe and shit. Yeah.
It was just really cool. I don't know, other than music gear, which they had like cameras and like all like the stage props and like these sick.
Yeah, because everything has to make it. It has to continue on through all
And it
the
was just
different
sweet,
cities and stuff.
Seeing like the Book of Mormon painted on the
On the trailer.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was sweet. But yeah, fun times.
How did we get on the?
Matt Stone,
just
Trey Parker.
yeah, just how. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Page said I really need to see it, but those guys they keep Well, I want to see what's going to happen with the hashtag cancel South Park. That was the whole ad campaign leading up to the season. They started it.
Yeah, I do. I did know that actually.
Did you see at the end of episode 3 though? It was hashtag cancel the Simpsons because they kicked they kicked Mr. Hanky out of town and he ends up in Springfield.
Mr. Hanky, really?
Yeah, you had to see that one.
No,
dude. If you're current, you saw it. It was episode number 3, the problem with the poo.
No, I didn't see that episode.
All right, maybe you skipped it then.
Maybe I did.
So Hanky is being a general douche. It's just not working out with the town. He ends up and they kick him out. They banish him out of South Park, and he ends up in Springfield. And when he gets off the bus, it's like Homer and everyone's standing there. And then
Is it a crossover?
no, not at all. This was them kicking back at Simpsons because the Simpsons always makes fun of them.
Really?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So anyway, he ends up, but I think it was a commentary on because I think right around then is when it came out officially that the Simpsons were going to be eliminating Apu.
Yeah.
And I think it was sort of that. So Apu, Mr. Hanky, Apu, ends up in Springfield.
Okay.
And Apu is the last one to say something, but I don't remember what he said. But he's the last one to say something before it cuts off for the end of the episode.
Mr. Hanky the Christmas Pooh.
Right. The problem with Apu is Apoo is the name, but when you read it like that and then you see him at the end, he's the last person to say something, you go, those motherfuckers. Those guys are on to something.
That is hilarious.
That is so good. That is some.
Did they kick him off the show? Why would they take him out of there?
They're because of the pressure about racial insensitivities to
all of a sudden though, like he's been on the fucking show for years and years and years.
Yeah, that's an argument that it's been like 30, almost 30 years.
Yeah, like what?
Actually, has it been 30 years? Got to be close. Got to be really close because I'm 39. 9 years old would have put me in 4th grade, and I remember The Simpsons being out and kids getting like in trouble for wearing a Simpsons shirt that says "What the hell, man," or I don't have a cow. Even they would tape over it. So that was elementary school, so it had to be around there. But I think
That's weird.
The problem is in this hashtag woke, hashtag enlightened time in this world, specifically this country, people's sensitivities to non-identifying races portraying that race in a TV show, a movie, whatever, is something that's offensive. When the dude who was in, and I didn't realize at the time because I was a kid, it didn't make any sense to me. When the guy who was in Short Circuit 2 played an Indian guy, was a white guy, literally in brown face. I didn't realize that. At the time, nobody thought anything of it.
Short Circuit 2.
You remember Short Circuit 2?
Is that with Johnny Five?
Yeah, Johnny Five. But it's the one where like they're in the city and he's trying to stay with what's her name and whatever, and the government's trying to capture him again.
It was a white guy?
Yeah, it was a white guy who was playing the Indian guy. He was playing the lead guy who was supposed to be Indian.
Really?
It was a white dude in like brown face. I can't remember what his name is. Rogan's talked about it before.
I did not fucking know that.
Yeah. And then what's the kid's name from the classic 80s movie where the kid pretends to be black so he can actually get into Harvard or college or whatever college he was trying to get into because he tried to play that he was a minority and then he could get into the school. That was really egregious. I think that was crazy. I mean, it was the whole concept is not we picked a white dude to play an Indian guy. We have a white dude who's pretending to be a black dude so we can get into school for free. But then people get it, and I'm like, that's upsetting, but whatever, because it's so long ago. And obviously the trend hasn't continued. But then what about white chicks? Going the reverse, right? And that's some people have been arguing about that as well. So that's like the appropriation of the gender. But the reason I think the people have the problem with Apu is that, again, like the guy who was a white dude painted in brown face for this movie. And saying brown face even makes me feel like it's wrong.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't.
You know what I mean? Which is just my.
I just kind of wish people were cool.
Just fucking be cool. So right, but the reason this is happening is because there's been a big outcry from that community, from the Indian. I believe he's supposed to be Indian, but Indian. I think maybe even in Pakistani, just sub-Asian continent people in general, and well, Asia too. Anyone who's not white has come out and said, "Hey, why are you filling these roles with people that aren't the race of the character?"
Yeah.
And pretending to be something else.
I thought White Chicks was hilarious. I still fucking love that movie. I don't give a shit what anybody says. That movie's amazing.
That was his response. I thought White Chicks was hilarious.
It's good. It's great.
I'm indifferent to it because it doesn't affect me. Because for me, as long as the movie's good or the show is good, then I'm good with it. Like the argument against the concept is that, and this happened with, Scarlett Johansson was supposed to play a trans man, and the trans community flipped out. And again, this is me paraphrasing. I've heard many other people talk about this. I'm not on any side necessarily. Just as something that's interesting to me. Trans community got very upset and said, why isn't a trans person playing that role? It's the role, the character is a trans person, a trans man. Why are you not casting a trans man? The argument here was, well, again, it's acting. And when you act, you pretend to be something you're not. Nobody in Pirates of the Caribbean is really a fucking pirate. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And there's hundreds of dudes and chicks. None of them are pirates. None of them are real pirates.
They're not pirates.
They're none. None are Somali, so they're definitely not. And so the point is where is the line? And I think for me the line's pretty clear in that the issue at hand isn't that those people aren't getting cast in those roles. Anyone non-white isn't getting cast in the role that's appropriate, but that they're not getting cast in general. So there isn't the predominance of that's a white person, that's a black person, that's Asian, whatever. That's the problem. That's the heart of the problem is that, and it was touched on in one of the episodes in the first season, I want to say, of Master of None with Aziz, where he's talking with his friend who is another Indian actor, and he's talking about, things he's not willing to do to get a role. And Aziz was like, his friend's like, how's your Indian accent? He goes, I mean, it's an Indian accent because he speaks Hindi to his parents. And he goes, well, let's hear it. He goes, no, because I'm not going to do an Indian accent. It's the part isn't even for an Indian guy, or it's I think it was for a cab driver. I think it was for a cab driver in New York. So that was kind of what they were going for. They were looking for that sort of thing. And he goes, why can't I just be an Indian American dude who sounds like I sound and just be me and be a cab driver? And that was the thing. And then so the whole episode ended up kind of touching on pretty nicely on the concept of people who are not everyone, right? Big mixed pot. Everyone's different. Cool. We're all individuals. Are you the right person for the role? Because that role makes sense to have you as that person.
Yeah.
Why are there not more in, American culture or any really leading Asian men, leading black men? Well, I'm Kevin Hart and The Rock, but you know what I mean? It's like, why are there not more of these individuals? And it's because they're not writing, writers, Hollywood, are not writing roles for them. And if they do, they're casting people who aren't of that ethnicity. But more importantly, why aren't they just looking at them to look at them for the role? Because why not? You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's where that whole situation lies with Apu. It's like there was enough of an uproar from that community that said, this isn't right. This is something, he should step down, and it seems that the creators eventually capitulated. So,
Did they? Is he gone?
Yeah, well, they're writing him out of the show.
Wow.
I mean, Hank Azaria does 24 other voices on the show.
But that's still kind of sad.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I don't know. I think there's people in support of keeping it. But, then somebody can make the argument, well, just because it's old and something we've always done doesn't make it right. It's like for South, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. There's a lot of those people who still think that they won the war.
Character on the show, though. I just don't understand.
I don't know either. My as I apply chapstick, my lip chap. For me, selfishly, because I don't have to care. And I know that makes I waffle on that too, because it's like I don't have to. Nobody has to do anything. But should I? Well, of course. But honestly, it's like that's that nostalgic bit of my childhood, that's extended so long. He's just a character within the show. The woman that does his wife's voice, who doesn't do it often. She's not on the show very often. I'm pretty sure she's white. But they're asking for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why? What's the
who knows?
What is that going to... What victory is it for you? By diminishing that, rather than rather than working toward building something new, why tear down something like that that's old? But I guess then as long as
what would they accomplish with that? Oh, okay, they got an animated person off the show.
Yeah.
A person who's not even really real.
Yeah. And, I don't know that anyone's attention span is long enough these days for that to be a retaliatory thing where people go, well, you know what? We're definitely not going to cast you guys now. People, what happened? It was like, that was 10 days ago? That's like 5 fucking years ago. What are you talking to me about that for? Like, that's what it'll be. Like, everyone's outraged about all kinds of things all the time. But it's because there has to be so many things all the time to be outraged about, because your attention span, 2 days is enough to change you from going, the fucking whales are being killed up in SeaWorld and shit, and they shouldn't be. Well, what's going on with the fires in California? You know what I mean? Like, a moment later, you're outraged.
Side note, speaking of SeaWorld, they proposed this whole thing years ago about having like 10 acres worth of water for the
orcas.
Yeah, shit. I had such a brain collapse there, a momentary lapse in judgment. Cheers. But anyways, I kind of wanted to see that, but they passed that law where all the animals have to like go free now.
Did they? So I know that they were working on an enclosure for them that was part of the bay where they're near, because some marine biologist was on Rogan last year, I want to say, and she was talking about how they had to create ended up being like 10 miles worth of this fencing to go around to cove off part of this bay for them to stay and stuff, and it was taking a while to do, but it was supposed to be good. And so that's what I last heard, and that was last year. I didn't know about that. What I did see, and again, unverified, and I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm scrolling on Facebook, and a video comes up from somebody that they're showing this pretty clear drone footage that looks like it's flying over a whale farm in Russia.
Jeez.
Where they're breeding or captivating beluga and killer whales, orcas, and something else too, some other like medium to smaller size whale, to sell to China mostly, for them to use for their different aquariums and stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah. So like in the States and in Canada, or is it in Canada too? Hang on. Definitely in the States. It's been for a while not legal to breed orcas in captivity, but they can be purchased from other places. And I think they were trying to breed them in Canada, and they were selling them to us, but then I think Canada shut that down, so then they were all importing them from China. So who fucking knows, dude?
That is crazy.
Yeah.
I would never even want to go out in the water to capture a fucking whale. Fuck no.
It's just, I don't know.
Hell no.
It's not necessary. I'm on the fence about zoos. I'm like, oh, a zoo's cool to take your kid to so they can see these animals. I'm like, yeah, these sad ass animals sitting in this habitat that's like a trillionth the size of where they came from, and it's depressing. It sucks, and I don't like. Zoos are a staple of most big cities, at least in this country, to be an attraction and to be an educational point as well. And my aunt and uncle are docents at the zoo, and I'm not shitting on the zoo at all. I think it has its a place, I guess, but it kind of bums me out when you go in there and you see the polar bear and he's in an enclosure the size of this apartment. That dude had the Arctic to himself. The next closest bear was 10 miles away.
A wall away.
Yeah. It's like it didn't even matter, and here he is in this,
Oh, I thought you were talking about in the
oh, right.
They're just in cages.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's
very touchy.
Yeah. Everything is tread lightly in these treacherous waters.
I'm not going to lie though. It would be sweet to walk under that 10-acre tank to see the orca.
What do you mean walk under it?
If they did if they made it like a actual fish tank.
Oh, you wouldn't be able to.
With those tunnels in it. I saw the plans for it. I got to go back and find it, but they had these observation tunnels under the.
Really?
Yeah, it was kind of sweet.
I guess you could have if you. I don't know how you would do it.
That's what I mean.
I don't know the obviously the mechanics behind building something like that.
I would never go into it though. Fuck that. No way.
No?
No.
Why?
It's terrifying.
What if the glass cracks and the water starts gushing in and you guys just get forced out the tube?
And then they're just be vulnerable as shit.
Vulnerable. They're done. That water hits you, doesn't matter if anything eats you. You're done. You've already drowned.
No thanks.
If the water velocity hitting you didn't kill you, the pressure did. Before you slammed into whatever it pushed you into. You're dead instantly.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't even go on it.
Yeah.
No thanks. And plus, it'd probably be like, do you want to go $200 to walk down on it? No thanks.
How do you feel about those bridges that are just panes of glass, like in China and shit, where you're like 100 feet?
I don't know.
200 feet, 1,000 feet. I don't know. How much is 1,000 feet?
I've heard, I'm relating this to because you're talking about, but I've heard like pilots say it's better to be on the ground and wish you're in the air than be in the air wishing you're on the ground. So again, I probably wouldn't walk on that fucking glass bridge.
No?
Even if it is safe. It's glass. No thanks.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd probably be pissing myself the whole time, but kind of like going on the sky coaster. It's like, well, I mean, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die.
No thanks. I do want to go on the sky coaster though. That's kind of what I was. $200 for that. It's like $50 or something. I don't know.
I think it's 40 for two because you got to do two people at a minimum.
Yeah,
it's 2 to 3. I think it was, or was it 60? Might have been 60 for the pair though.
For the years and years and years I've been going to Darien Lake, I've been on every fucking ride except for the sky coaster.
Well, Holly made me go with her. It was we talked about an episode.
I need to go on the sky coaster.
It wasn't that bad. It really, I was, kind of, the thing about it is I love roller coasters. I'll get on without hesitation. I will get on a roller coaster without hesitation. I'm like, yeah, I mean, if it's a wooden one, no, because like it kills your body and that sucks. But I'll be anxious or have, some huge anticipation, but I will get on a roller coaster. The sky coaster is like, if one of those cables snaps, you are now on the ground. You know what I mean? You go rogue, you're going to slam into the pole. It's going to wrap around. You're going to be like a maypole out there. You're going to be fucked.
That's gonna blow dick.
Because
on your way up, it breaks. And
because
you fall in the
there
water.
isn't a cable that follows you down that could make up the extra part of the triangle that's broken. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. If one left or right side goes, shit, I keep moving away from the mic. If the left or right side goes, you're slamming into one of those support poles on either side.
Totally done. I've had a dream of being on the boomerang, and when it goes backwards, I've flown out of my restraints. But like,
thought you were gonna say when it got to the top, it just kept going. Have
you ever done that in Roller Coaster Tycoon? Have you ever played that game?
No, I never played that.
Sometimes you'd make a crazy roller coaster and you wouldn't finish the roller coaster, and you'd open it, and the roller coaster would just like ramp off. It's so nuts. I think I miss those games, those original like Sims games.
They still have them.
Yeah, but they're like weird and like crazy intricate.
Yeah.
Now, and I don't know, like it's not the same. It's not the same playing the same Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah.
Those games are amazing.
I used to play like The Sims on the computer and for what did I have it for? Oh, for Super Nintendo, I think.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
We had to for technology class do a what's it called? A Sims City. I can never figure it out. It was so weird.
You couldn't figure out SimCity?
I could not figure out SimCity at all. I still have a hard time.
Oh, I'm an asshole. SimCity is what I'm talking about on Super Nintendo. The Sims didn't exist on Super Nintendo. SimCity.
Yes.
That was the shit. And there was the cheat code where you could get unlimited money, which is basically like $1 million. It was like a left, right, up, down, A, B, something or other kind of thing.
I remember the Sims cheat code was Rosebud for the Sims.
Oh, what, for the computer? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but for Super Nintendo, for SimCity, it was like one of those uppercut dragon, whatever. You know, what was that? Double Dragon was the one with the unlock up, down, BA, select, start. It was for any, such an asshole. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. I remember.
There's like t-shirts out there that people have that on, and fucking bumper stickers.
Up, down, BA, select, start.
It's something, up, down, BA, select, start. Somebody's gonna. I hope someone tears me a new asshole online about this because I should know this shit. I might not be a gamer now, but I used to fancy myself. So fancy.
I remember doing cheat codes for Grand Theft Auto 2 or 3.
See, I never did any of that. I didn't get into any of that shit.
Oh man, I want to play video games right now. Specifically Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yeah, I fucking... What was the... It was some... Whatever. Doesn't matter. GoldenEye was my shit for a long time.
Still love GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Classic. Nintendo 64 Blitz was amazing. Undefeated. I lost one time. Only because I had
Undefeated and I lost one time. Don't count, dude. That's not the same thing.
I'm not even gonna say it. I'm not even counting it as a loss because I had a dyslexic moment and I thought I was in the lead and everything fucking went upside down and I like looked off to the left and I didn't.
Oh, you mean like what happened in the last game of the NBA Finals? Just where the dude.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
On the Cavaliers runs the opposite fucking way, and there's that meme of LeBron going, "What the fuck?"
That's literally what happened. But everything literally turned upside down, and like I just lost interest for some reason. And then my buddy Danny threw the touchdown and won, and I was like, "Wait a minute, what? I thought the game was done. I can't believe it!" And I lost. I was pretty upset. That happens to me often.
So your own error caused your loss.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that counts. That's not an asterisk.
No, it's not a fucking loss.
It's definitely not a tie.
Dude, there was one day we were working, and my buddy Danny came over to my house the other day, and he was telling me, he's like, "Yo, remember that one time we finished working and we pulled in front of your house and you got out of the car and you were looking around and you go, where the fuck am I?" And he's like, "We're in front of your house."
We're in front of your house, bro.
But dude, that was so weird. I remember standing there and everything was upside down. Like, I remember trying to comprehend it. Like, the houses were upside down and the sky was the floor. And I remember standing on the street, like, trying to fucking comprehend this. And then I was like, where the fuck are we? And then they're like, in front of your house. And it was just like a...
Oh, and as soon as you said that, it was like the camera
Yeah, it was very weird.
Tilted
it was
180
so fucking weird. And I was just like, oh my God.
That's what it took you to focus?
Yeah.
Enough to...
Odd, very odd.
That's not left right backwards as in dyslexic, but I wonder if that's still a dyslexia of some kind. In that
I don't know. It was weird
to have it flip. Well, because it wasn't like it mirror flipped, right? It was like a rotating flip.
Yeah, it was a rotate flip. It wasn't like...
Oh, shit. So that's even crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. And that's when I realized...
Dude, what was that ride?
Something's
was
wrong.
it the cyclotron that they used to have at Fantasy Island? Where it was like a UFO you get in and everybody stood with their backs along like these like slats. You know, and as the thing would start to spin, they would kind of roll up the wall, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, and people would try to put their leg out on the bar in the middle where all the TVs were playing MTV on a loop. Remember that shit?
I vaguely remember. I know the ride you're talking about.
Yeah, the cyclotron.
Yeah.
I don't know what made me think of that, but something you said made me think of that.
The
Right?
thing.
Yeah. And just how disorienting it is, and your head is spinning when you get out of there.
Yeah. I guess was kind of like that, but it was just like that split second. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Reality
just
just skews, and you're like, "Am I in the Matrix?"
Felt like it, maybe. I don't know. It was very weird, though, man. I hated it, honestly.
Well, I mean,
it happens.
It's not for everyone.
It is not for everyone. It is the worst shit in the world. Seeing shit upside down like that, and you're trying to fucking read. You're like, come on.
I went to take my MCATs and my brain skidded. It's like, I don't know, buddy. That's sounds like a personal problem.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Smoke pot every day.
No.
Those aren't even the right lyrics.
No, they're not. Smoke weed every day.
Damn it.
I still didn't do it justice, but I don't know that I'd want to leave that as how we leave off, but
maybe people have a hard time. There's like a weird number of bars in between that and the song where that song ends and that dude says that. People can never get it right, and there's like one dude who did it right. Like, he did it as he said it. It's like 1 2 3 4 2 2 3 4 3 2 3 4. Weird number of bars, and it's so random.
And Tom would know that though, because he's a fucking drummer.
But I don't know. But it was nuts. Do we end off on that note? Trying to figure out.
It was the Fibonacci sequence.
It's weird.
And that's the algorithm that they used.
Fibonacci sequence. What is that?
You don't know what that is?
No.
All right, look that up real quick.
How do you even spell that?
I'm probably saying it wrong too.
Fibonacci.
It's feminine. No, it's
Fibonacci
sequence.
Fibonacci.
Yeah.
Fibonacci.
Yeah, the Fibonacci sequence.
Series of numbers in which each number is the sum of the two preceding numbers. The simplest is the series 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Never mind. You lost me.
No, but is it showing you the spiral? Is how it starts on the inside and spirals out?
No.
Go to images and see if that shows up. So there's something about the way that that works that actually ends up being, if you coil it correctly, ends up being perfectly symmetrical. Yes, yeah, starting like that. Something about that somehow ends up being perfectly symmetrical. I don't know, something about like like transposing that over someone's face, like an image of their face to see if they're, I don't know, I think that's what I heard. Maybe I'm wrong. But I do know that Tool tried to write, maybe they did write. I think they did write a song
with
the time. That's the timing.
So the song started out in 1.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, because when Maynard was on Rogan's show last time, he was talking about how the guys in the band were trying to or actually did, I don't remember which one it was, write a song using that as the timing signature. And it was like crazy beyond math, because it is math, but it's not even like Dream Theater math rock. It's like the timing changes would be crazy, I would think. He's trying to hammer it out.
It's just counting. You just got to land on 55. That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
That's kind of nuts if you really think about it.
Yeah. I believe. I believe. I know I heard it, and I thought I was sure that it was Maynard that said it, because he just writes the lyrics after they write the songs. He writes lyrics to it, and then he just goes and sings. So he's not part of the writing process. The rest of the band writes all the music.
I'm looking. Is 1? If a time signature is in 1, would it be 4/4?
See, I don't know. I don't know how they addressed that. But I just thought that was interesting, though.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
See, that is really weird. When it's related to music, I feel like I'm learning something. It's so weird.
Like I said, dude, you took the wrong classes, man.
Totally
You took the wrong classes. You can blame Mrs. Batten or whoever the hell your guidance counselor was.
Mr. I'm not even gonna say the dude's name.
Well, I mean, I already threw one of them under the bus. Somebody might know her.
I'm so intrigued by this thing.
Dude, get that as your next tattoo. Make it your life. Make it your life.
Living off of this, what would that accomplish?
Stop thinking that the fires in California are fake and following whatever bullshit conspiracy theorists. I will not even justify. I will not even entertain what you sent to me today. All I'm saying is you need a different source of entertainment.
I'm not the only one that thinks this.
Right, yeah, but you're in a limited few.
I don't know.
You're in a limited few.
Dude, they found there's UFOs flying over Ireland. Straight up. They're shooting rockets up in Israel. Come on.
Do you think the rockets in Israel are for they're for the aliens and not for the Palestinians?
I think they're for something else, dude. I think it's crazy that all of this shit is happening.
Rockets over the Middle East is not a surprise, as shitty as that is to have to say.
I know, but I don't know. Since, like, when has that been?
And unidentified flying objects over Ireland, where the country's always drunk. Anything's unidentified. Apparently, that's a huge misnomer, and I don't mean to upset anyone from Ireland, especially one Mr. McGregor in particular. I don't need him showing up at my house and harming me or my family. But, you know, the legendary joke, and the assumption is Irish people drink.
Get drunk.
Well, you know what? British people drink. And
here, how about this?
Italian people drink, and German people drink. So Europeans drink because
I did England.
Europeans drink, and they drink because weather's fucking shitty there in a lot of it.
Yeah. Totally. And then if you think about it, if we're going to go deeper, all of those drunks decided to leave their country and start America. So technically, Europeans are drunks.
I was going to say, don't say anything else. Just leave it at, so technically, Europeans, and just be like, have that be the end of your answer. And like,
Europeans.
Yeah.
Europeans.
It's like that meme and that dude's like, aliens. Like that guy.
There's a... Never mind. I feel like we should save this for another time.
All right. Sounds good. Everybody, you can check out Tom is Alive on Instagram and on Twitter. And you can follow the show, mostly just me, either Nick Too Late or Nick Huber or Apartment 83 Pod. And just kind of just bop around any of the social media. Send me a message. Let me know if you guys are liking what's going on. Again, if you have any suggestions. Again, if any of my friends have listened to the end of this, I've done this a couple times now. You have my number. Just text me. Just let me know, hey. Also, if you would,
You don't even have to text him. You could just hold down the home button on your iPhone and fucking speak it.
yeah, it's also true. But if anyone would do me this favor, message me, any of the platforms is fine. If you are subscribed to the podcast, like if you know, like in your phone device or whatever, if you're subscribed, will you just do me a favor? Just let me know. Just text me, and I'll appreciate it. I'm just trying to get a gauge on some stuff and make sure that the stuff that we're putting out is worth listening to, and that no one's too offended, and they do understand this is all done, with some levity and jokiness in it, and that Tom and I really love what we do, and we hope that you guys do too. So, Tom, anything else?
Thank you for listening, and we love you.
And also that, and love you.